This is an Irreverent podcast. Check out irreverent.fm for shows from all our friends.
Hello and welcome to Exvangelical. I'm your host, Blake Chastain. 2018 was a pretty incredible year for Exvangelical, and I thought I'd take the opportunity to reflect on just a handful of the things that have happened. Just this month, we saw the debut of the CBS religion documentary Deconstructing My Religion, featuring me, Chris Stroop, Linda K. Klein, Emily Joy, amongst others. I was also quoted alongside other exvangelicals in the Newsweek cover story Jesus Saves that was published online as Meet the Exvangelicals. Both of these stories, as well as the online response to the GC2 Summit, raised the profile of exvangelicals considerably just in the month of December. It was also just this past month that the show for the first time broke into the top 50 of the religion and spirituality section of Apple Podcasts, which was incredible. As Chris has said in his own year-end review, published on Rewire and most recently shared by Mark Ruffalo, aka the Hulk, on Twitter, this was the year in which exvangelicals became stakeholders in the conversation about evangelicalism. One of the many reasons why I like doing this podcast is because it provides the space to explore this topic in depth that can sometimes not be done in other mediums that are restricted by runtimes and word counts. And since this is an ongoing serial show, I can supplement that work done by others. I've said on Twitter that Exvangelical is not a solo, it's a chorus, and that remains true. So I want to take this opportunity now, in this final year-end review, this episode published at the tail end of 2018, to just highlight a handful of exvangelicals out there that are doing incredible work. I'm going to start with Laura Polk. She runs the website No Shame Movement and has been writing about purity culture for years. She also writes a wonderful newsletter called This Week in Culture Wars that you should subscribe to now. It is an absolute delight. Charlotte Henderson is a mod in the Exvangelical Facebook group and also writes about exvangelical issues on Twitter. As part of the GC2 Day of Action and Education that was, that was put on the same day as the GC2 Summit, she published an incredibly moving blog post about her experiences as a Black woman in purity culture. I'm going to link to that in the show notes. Tori Douglas is a writer and blogger who is also going to be launching her own podcast very soon. If you want to learn about the intersections of racism, sexuality, and evangelicalism, you should follow her on Twitter and Instagram @ToriGlass. Kevin Garcia is a content creator extraordinaire. They make videos, blogs, podcasts, and speak at events. You can listen to their podcast, A Tiny Revolution, wherever you listen to podcasts. Emily Joy and Hannah Posh were the original creators of the Church2 hashtag. They insist that the movement must be more than the two of them, but their voices remain indispensable when discussing purity culture. Josiah Hessa is the author of the Carnality series. He appeared in the Deconstructing My Religion documentary, but some footage didn't make it into the final cut. His book series is a psychological horror story that also perfectly captures what it's like to grow up in the Christian subculture, while also trying to understand popular culture and that sort of filter that lives in your head when you're living in both of those cultures at the same time. It's a really fascinating series, and if you are exvangelical and if you like Stephen King or other sorts of psychological horror stories, you would absolutely love these books. Nate Sparks has begun blogging again. He is the man on Twitter with receipts about Doug Wilson, the Gospel Coalition, and other evangelical bad actors. Samantha Field is an amazing writer who provided absolutely critical commentary on the GC2 Summit this December. Linda K. Klein in her book Pure is one of the best books I read all year, and if you are a woman who grew up in purity culture, you must read that book. If you are someone who is partnered with a woman that grew up in purity culture, read that book. It is just incredible. Bethany Sparkle has written incredible threads about James Dobson and is a very wonderful commentator on exvangelical issues over on Twitter. Cindy Wang Brandt is another. She writes for Living Life on, Raising Children Unfundamentalist. And Parenting Forward is a new book that she has coming out very soon. Others, Asha Daya, she is a content creator and host and video producer who talks about issues regarding reproductive rights. And there are so many others besides those that you might have heard on the CBS special or quoted elsewhere. I want to thank everyone who has supported the podcast and the groups and everything over the past 2 years plus that this has been going on. I'm very, very, very grateful for the role that I get to play in all of this. But it would not happen without you, without the listeners, without those that are being brave and sharing their stories online, publicly, in the Facebook group and elsewhere. It is incredibly brave, and I'm so thankful for being able to be a part of that conversation. And I'm so thankful, especially to the moderators and admins in the Facebook group who volunteer their time to help make a space that is as safe as possible for people to really try and discuss really difficult things. I am so unbelievably thankful for them. And as a final little teaser for the next full-length interview, I want you to also check out the organization, The Brave Commons. They provide community and support for LGBTQ plus students on Christian campuses. My first full interview of the new year will be with one of their co-directors, so please be on the lookout for that. But again, I just want to say thank you for everyone that has listened, for everyone that continues to exercise their own voice. I want to try to highlight as many of those as I can in this coming year. I hope to do that even more so. I hope to move this podcast into a more sustainable future. And I just want to take this moment, though, to again say thank you. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. I can't wait to see what we do next. And I just thought of more things for you to check out. Check out Corey Pigg's work at Field Missionary. Check out Jamie Lee Finch and her work in regards to sex and sexuality. Check out Impurity Culture that's done by Emily Joy and Hannah Boning for Scarletine. Check out Wholly Blacked Out on Instagram. Check out Fundamentally Free, the blog done by Mandy Nicole and others. There are so many amazing projects, so many that I can't even name them all. And I'm sorry if I've forgotten yours. But seek them out because, again, exvangelical is not a solo. It is a chorus, and it needs your voice. So if you are in a place that you feel that you have something to share, please do it. And if you are in a place where you need to benefit from the stories of others, please seek those out, because if I'm not the one that can speak to your experience, then there are others that can. Laura Jean Truman is another amazing writer out there. There are so many wonderful people. Seek them out on Twitter, seek them out on Instagram. Just do. I'm sort of just carried away at the amount of content and resources that are available. And I hope that you continue, dear listener, to move towards wholeness over holiness. Have a happy new year and a safe 2019.